Nothing is impossible for a super wonderful God. Every day I can know God is always there for me and my family. Every day I can know greater is the one who lives inside me. Super big, super strong, super wonderful God. Super big, super strong, super wonderful God.
Good morning, boys and girls.
Welcome to KidzTown.
We are so thankful for all of our friends at home that are joining us each week. A special hello to all of the ones who did our activities from last week. To get your name listed, you can do the lesson notes, you can do the trivia time, Pictionary, or this week we even had a word search for you.
That's right. So I want to give a shout out to all the friends that we heard from. So we heard from Praise and Miles and Nolan and Miley, from Will, from Caitlin and Morgan and Drew, from Ethan and Rachel and Faith and Safina, from Maya, Eli, Tennyson, Jonathan, Benjamin, Ezekiel and Evander, Mackenzie and Haley, Devia, Camilla, Isabella, Miguel, Josue, and Nathan.
Wow, that's a lot of kids that are tuning in each week. Boys and girls, if you're watching from home and you didn't hear your name get called this week, it's okay. You can still send an email to carolyn@reginaapp.com and we'll make sure we mention your name next week so we can give you a good hello at home.
Awesome. This week, Pastor Jory is talking to the church family, and we are going to learn all together how to put other people first. Before we get into that, we're going to play a game and sing a song.
It's game time!
We pulled out our favorite pirate, ninja, cowboy to play again today. If you haven't played with us before, that's our version of rock, paper, scissors, except you need to get up off the couch and you use your whole body for this one.
All right, so there's 3 characters, pirate, ninja, cowboy. So for the first action, you're going to do the pirate. So cover your eye, make your hook, and arr!
I think that one's my favorite.
Is it? Yeah, it's a good one.
For ninja, you just need to make a ninja move. You can do spin kicks or whatever, maybe keep the back flips to a minimum, but whatever looks like a ninja to you.
And the last one, my favorite, is the cowboy. Ride your horse.
And that got your last 2. Awesome. Okay, so pirate beats ninja, ninja beats cowboy, and cowboy beats pirate.
All right, so we're going to do
screen too.
We're going to do it 3 times with you, and then you guys can do it a couple times on your own.
Perfect.
Are we ready?
Yeah, so go back to
All
back,
right.
count in 3, and on the third one, you turn around in character, and then see who wins. All right, 3, 2, 1. Arr! Oh,
I lost.
I won.
That was I lost.
Let's try again. All right.
Okay.
3, 2, 1.
I win!
She beats me.
Yay!
Okay, one more.
All
round.
right.
One more. Round.
Okay.
3, 2, 1. Arr! Oh, she wins again.
I win!
All right, you guys keep playing a few more rounds.
Water you turned into wine. Open the eyes of the blind. There's no one like you. There's none like you.
Hey, Pastor Jory, what are you doing?
Hey, Brooke. Wow. I'm actually making something that's, it's for like the kids in KidzTown, but it's like a secret. Yeah, it's a secret. So I'm kind of, I thought I'd sneak in early before we do everything and try to get ready and get it going.
I see.
Yeah.
Do you need any help?
Yeah, I would love some help.
Oh, okay.
Do you want, because I'll just show you. Okay, so can you see? Yeah?
It really
okay.
is a
So can you do that? That would be awesome.
Yeah.
While we're doing this, I was actually thinking about something, and I was wondering if you actually believe that when God made the world and all of us in it, that He had a plan for what would work best. Do you think that?
I believe that.
Yeah, I think that's totally true. And you know what else I think is that as people, sometimes we mess up, right? And
Right.
we sin and we make choices that we shouldn't make, but every day we actually get another chance to make a different choice.
Yeah, that's
Don't you
right.
think that?
Like, we have a choice of what we say or even how we say it.
Exactly, that's totally true. Or like, for example, I have a choice right now, like look at all these yummy. I have a choice that if I could share this with you, which I'm going to.
Thank you. And I have a choice if I say thank you or not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly, right? We all have choices that we can make. And you know what? I think that one of the choices that's part of God's plan is that we would actually choose to put others first.
Yeah, that sounds like the greatest commandment that we have, which is love the Lord your God with all your heart, with all your soul, with all your strength, and love your neighbor as yourself.
It sure does. And you know what? One of the great ways that we can love God is the way that we love others and the way that we put others before ourselves. And there's really practical things that we can do to show people how we love them. And you know what? Actually, I was talking about that when I was talking to moms and dads this week in our sermon. We were thinking about all these different ideas of how we can show kindness to each other. And do you know what? There's actually tons of stories in the Bible of different people that showed us what that would look like.
Oh yeah, like the one I was telling the story in God's Big Backyard this week. And we were talking about a little boy who was hungry, but he still shared his lunch. And it ended up being Jesus fed 5,000 people with that
wow.
boy's lunch.
Yeah.
And he could have just eaten it by himself, but he chose to share it.
And I bet you he was hungry.
He was probably really hungry.
But he did it anyways. You know what's another really good story from the Bible that teaches about this? The Good Samaritan, right?
Oh.
That's when a person got robbed, right? A man got robbed, and he actually got beaten, and he got left on the side of the road. And there was people that walked by, and they just kept going. They actually put themselves first.
Yeah.
But then the Good Samaritan came by, and he actually made the choice to help that hurt man. He put his plans and what he wanted to do aside and stopped and helped that person first. And I think that's really important, right? Choosing to care for someone.
Yeah, instead of just doing your own thing, right?
Yeah.
That's a really good story, but I think that I'm just forgetting something for these boxes.
Oh,
I'll be right
okay.
back. I'm
You
gonna
go grab that. I'll keep working.
Okay, I'll be right
Yeah,
back.
perfect. Oh, perfect, Brooke. You found
I'm back.
it?
I
Oh, that's
found
so
it.
great. Do you know what? While you were gone, I was actually thinking of another really good story from the Bible.
Oh, yeah?
The story of David and Jonathan. Do you remember
Right.
that
I
story?
remember that one.
Right, that story is about David and Jonathan that were great friends. But maybe you didn't know about how they would choose to put each other first. Did you know about that?
I think you should tell me.
Okay, I'll tell the story. So David, when he was still a young shepherd, he would go to actually King Saul's palace and he'd play the harp for him. David was a really great musician. And it was after that that David killed Goliath. And that's when David stayed with Saul and his family, and he became best friends with Jonathan.
Well, that always kind of struck me a little strange.
Like, strange that they became best friends?
Well, just strange because, David was anointed by Samuel before any of this happened, right? So he knew that God wanted him to be king.
Yeah.
And his best friend was the son of the king, and he was supposed to be the king next. So how did that happen?
Yeah, that is kind of a strange thing. But really, I think what happened was that David, he just trusted God's timing and he didn't worry about what was going to happen. So then he was able to be good friends with Jonathan anyways. And Jonathan, he didn't care if he got it. He chose to put his friend David first. And really, he chose to give up what could have been his rightful spot, or what actually was his spot to be king for his friend.
Wow.
You know what? Actually, let me grab my Bible, because there's something that's really important to read, and it's from 1 Samuel. And it actually is this really critical part of the story. So 1 Samuel 20, okay, listen to this. 1 Samuel 20, verse 31. Let's read it. It says this. It says, "For as long as the son of Jesse lived on the earth, neither you nor your kingdom shall be established." The son of Jesse was David, just so you know, okay? "Therefore, send and bring him to me, for he shall surely die." And do you know who's saying that? That's Saul talking to Jonathan. And he's saying, you know what? Send David to me so I can get rid of him, so I can kill him. And Jonathan, he actually had a choice to make, right? He could either obey his father and become king, or he could put his friend first and likely never get to be king, but his friend would live.
Right. And, if I'm remembering, Jonathan chose David, right?
Yeah, he totally did. And, I don't think we're going to face that big of a choice in our lives. Maybe. But it's a great example of someone that actually put their friends' interests before themselves.
Right.
Yeah. And you know what, Brooke? That story actually doesn't end there.
Really?
Yeah, because King David, actually, after he became king, just like God planned for him to become king, you know what? He actually took care of Jonathan's family. He remembered the promise that he made to Jonathan, and even after Jonathan had died, he found one of Jonathan's sons that would have been like a prince, which could have been a little tricky for David, but he found him, and he actually took care of him. So really, actually, both Jonathan and David put each other first.
Oh, wow. These are all great examples of how to put other people first before you put what you want.
Yeah.
And then you see what they want, and you see what's best for both of you, and you think about their feelings too, right?
Exactly. And you know what, Brooke? That's actually why David and Jonathan is the example of what it is, like the best example of what it means to be a friend.
Right.
Because they actually cared about each other and they put the other
They
person's
were
interest.
good friends. They were kind to each other.
Exactly. Okay, you know what? We probably could tell so many more stories, but I think we better get back to this.
Okay.
Okay,
Sounds
let's
good.
keep making some of these.
Do you want some of this?
Yeah, yes, thank you. Oh, that's
Well-
perfect. Oh, that's going to be awesome. Oh, I've got something down here. This week, we thought it would be really fun for the boys and girls if we actually made horns. Wouldn't that be fun?
It would.
So Yolanda actually knows how to do it. She's kind of our expert in horn making. And you'll be able to find all of the instructions and the resources, but Yolanda's going to take us through it.
All right, so what you guys are going to need, boys and girls, is you're going to need a straw, a pair of scissors. That's it. But one thing we've learned in making our horns is that if you have those straws that have the bendies, it's actually no good. So just cut off the bendy part, okay? You're going to want to chew on the end of your straw till it's really, really flat. Once the end is flat, you just cut off a little bit of each side where it's flat, and then you'll have a horn. Pastor Drury, have you ever heard that saying, you don't toot your own horn?
Yeah, I have heard that saying. And do you know where I've heard that saying from?
Where?
I've heard it from my mom.
Oh, classic mom
I
saying.
know. And you know why she was saying it to me? Because I was bragging about myself and talking about how good I am and all those kinds of things. And my mom's like, Jory, don't toot your own horn.
Right.
Right?
So that's kind of like our verse, right?
It totally is, right? Because the reality is, when we're focused on ourselves, we can kind of become braggers.
Right, and that's not any
That's not good. But if we think about others, you know what?
What?
We could actually toot our horn for other people.
I love that idea.
That is so
All
great.
right. Oh, let's try
Okay.
it.
Oh,
My horn works.
Okay.
So let's try this.
Okay, Yolanda.
Yeah.
You're so good at making horns.
Woo! Pastor Jory, I really like your clothes.
Oh, thank you. Or you know what?
What?
We could actually just toot our horns together for fun.
Oh, that'd be fun. Maybe we could toot the horn around our mom and dad.
Oh, wait. Yeah, but you know what?
What?
That might not be like thinking about them so much.
Oh, maybe not being so kind.
Maybe we should take our horns outside.
That's a great
That's probably
idea.
better.
Okay, sounds good. Let's go. Under the B12. Under the B12. Under the O16. Under the O16. Under the N6. Under the N6.
Yolanda, what are you doing?
Hi, Pastor Jory. I'm playing bingo. But it's not as much fun when you're playing by yourself.
I can't think that it would be that much fun when you're playing by yourself. But do you know what? I actually have a bingo game from KidzTown from church today. Do you want to play that instead?
Yeah, that would be awesome. Do we need the balls?
No, we don't need the balls.
okay.
I
I'll just put
have a
those away.
sheet for you.
Oh,
So
awesome.
you got that right there.
Thank you.
And it's just about things that we can do to be nice to people. So it's things that we do for each other. So, it's just different items written in each square.
Okay.
And then you just sort of sign it off when you do them.
Oh, so is that kind of like what our memory verse was on this week in our lesson about being kind?
Kind of. Do you get that? Kind of.
I see what you did there.
Yeah, it's kind of funny. No, the verse this week is from Philippians 2:4. So it's let each of you not only look to his own interests, but actually to the interests of others.
Huh.
So it's kind of saying, you know what, it's not just about being kind, right? That's important, but it's also about looking past ourselves and looking at how can we help other people.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Right? Like, it's like, I don't want it just to be about me. It's like, oh, look around. Like, how can I be nice to
Right.
that person? and
Yeah.
care about that person. So that's what the bingo is about.
Okay, well, I see I have one, so let's just take a look at some of these on here. So,
Okay.
What about let someone else pick the game?
That would be a really good one.
Yeah?
Especially for me because I love games.
Yes.
Do you know what my favorite game is?
What's your favorite game?
The Oil Man game.
Oh, that's a classic.
Is that such
I
a
love
good
that
game? Okay, well, here, how about this one?
'Kay.
How about setting the table before you're asked to?
Oh man, if my kids did that, that would be awesome.
I'm
that would
sure
make
it would
their
be.
parents so happy.
Exactly.
Yes. What about help someone clean their room?
Oh, that's good. And you know what? After you help me clean your room,
Yeah.
I could help you clean your room.
That would be
awesome.
awesome. Helping each other's is great.
Exactly. Wait a minute, Yolanda. Do you hear that?
I do hear that.
You know what I think that means?
It's trivia time.
Welcome to trivia time.
Before we get going on this week's questions, we just want to add up all of our points from last week, and we just want to remind you of how you can get your points. So this week, you got points from filling in the lesson notes, for guessing for Pictionary, for playing our trivia game, as well as doing the word search that you can find on our resources page. So just remember, check back on the resources page each week to see if there's a way for you to get extra points for your team.
That's right. We had tons of points rolling in this week. So at the end of last week, the girls were at 340 points and the boys were at 358. So it's still a pretty close game. Let's see what happens when we add on this week's scores.
All right, so this week, the boys, drum roll, got 112 points. That takes them up to 470. Wow, good job, boys.
Wow. All right. And the girls, how many did they get?
Well, this week, the girls got 139 points, Carolyn.
139.
That takes them up to 479 points.
Yeah, you've been catching up for a while.
And now the girls are in the lead.
Excellent.
Good job, everyone. Every little bit counts, and we're so glad to have you playing along with us.
That's right. All right. So let's get to this week's questions. Number 1. Who was responsible for cutting Samson's hair? Was it Delilah? Was it Deborah, or was it Dinah?
Number 2, how long did Jacob agree to work in order to be able to marry Rachel? Was it A, 1 year, B, 7 years, or C, 14 years?
All right, number 3. When Noah sent out the dove from the ark, what did it come back with in its mouth? Was it A, a worm, B, a fish, or C, an olive branch?
Question number 4. How many times did Joshua march around the city of Jericho on the days that the walls fell down? Was it A, 3, B, 7, or C, 12?
And question number 5. How many days did Jesus fast while he was in the desert? That means he didn't have anything to eat or drink. Was it 10 days? Was it 20 days? Or was it 40 days?
It was so great to look at the Bible and find all those stories about people who put others before themselves. And it's so great that every day we can look and see how we can help others and not just think about ourselves.
That's true. And a great way to do that is the bingo activity that we've got for you this week.
That's right. We would love it if you worked on that.
And there's no deadline on that one. So if it takes you 2 weeks or 3, that's totally fine. You keep working on it. Whenever you get it done, take a picture and send it in, and you'll get 10 points for your team.
Before we go, we also wanted to stop and we wanted to bless some of our friends from KidzTown. So this week we want to bless Corbin, Kim, and Caleb,
Caitlin and Katie and Lois,
Lincoln, Miley, and Miguel,
Michelle and Mayasori,
Macy and Maximus,
Malachi and Morgan,
Maylee, Miles,
Madeline, Mackenzie,
Matthew and Maya,
Micaiah and Merrick.
and Miko.
We want to bless you guys with an overflowing of God's joy, and may you share it with others around you.
And for all of us watching, boys and girls and moms and dads, let's remember to think about others this week and look around and see how you can help someone else. Let's practice putting other people before ourselves.
That's great. Why don't you invite some friends to watch with you next week? From their homes, of course. We'll see
See you
next
then.
Super big, so